Did you know that the United Kingdom has been inhabited for over 800,000 years? This land, a tapestry of history, is steeped in mysteries waiting to be unfurled. The first known inhabitants, our distant ancestors, set foot on these isles during the Ice Age, their lives etched in the archaeological record. Centuries later, Celtic tribes, with their rich cultures and intricate art, began to populate the land. From the Picts in the north to the Cornish in the south, they transformed the landscape with their hill forts and sacred sites. Yet, change was on the horizon. The mighty Romans, with their legions and eagle standards, set their sights on these shores. Their conquest brought roads, baths, and villas, forever imprinting their legacy on this ancient land. So, the roots of the UK stretch back far beyond what most people realize, setting the stage for a complex and storied history. As the Roman Empire fell, the UK entered an era known as the Dark Ages. This period, spanning from the 5th to the 11th centuries, was anything but quiet. It was a time of significant upheaval, marked by invasions, battles, and the rise and fall of kingdoms. The Vikings, seafaring warriors and traders from Scandinavia, were among the key players during this era. They first invaded the British Isles at the end of the 8th century, initially raiding monasteries before establishing their own settlements. Their influence can still be seen today in place names, language, and even our DNA. But the Viking invasions were not simply a tale of colonization and conquest. They also catalyzed a process of cultural and political change. The constant threat of Viking incursions forced the fragmented Anglo-Saxon kingdoms to unite, laying the groundwork for a single, unified England. This unification was ultimately achieved under the rule of King Æthelstan in the early 10th century. Æthelstan, grandson of the legendary King Alfred the Great, is often considered the first true king of all England. His reign marked the beginning of a new chapter in the nation's history, setting the stage for the development of the English state. This turbulent period saw the birth of the nation we now know as England, a nation forged in the crucible of conflict, yet enriched by the blending of cultures. A nation that, despite its dark and chaotic beginnings, would go on to shape the course of world history in ways unimaginable to those living through the so-called Dark Ages. The year 1066 marked a turning point in UK history. The Battle of Hastings became the catalyst for monumental change. Duke William of Normandy, now known as William the Conqueror, led his forces to victory against Harold Godwinson, the last Anglo-Saxon king of England. This battle was far from just a change of leadership. It was a cultural revolution. The Normans didn't just bring new rulers, they introduced a new language, architecture, and societal norms. French became the language of the English court, forever influencing the English language with thousands of French words and phrases. The iconic castles that dot the English countryside? Norman innovation. Even the societal hierarchy felt the Norman touch, as they established a feudal system that left a lasting imprint on the English class structure. The Norman conquest was a seismic event that forever altered the cultural, linguistic, and societal landscape of England. With the Norman conquest, England was forever changed. From the chaos of the Middle Ages, great dynasties arose. As we delve into the heart of England's history, we encounter two families whose impact on this island nation was nothing short of monumental: the Plantagenets and the Tudors. Let's begin with the Plantagenets, a lineage that held the English crown for over 300 years. This dynasty's reign was marked by remarkable kings like Henry II, a ruler known for his legal reforms that would lay the groundwork for English common law. His rule brought a sense of order and justice that was much needed after years of turmoil. Yet it's perhaps Richard the Lionheart who captures our imaginations most vividly. Richard, with his reputation as a great military leader and his involvement in the Crusades, became a central figure of the Plantagenet story. His reign, albeit short, was characterized by his courage and knightly ideals, which are still celebrated in tales and songs today. As the Plantagenet era drew to a close, a new dynasty emerged from its ashes, the Tudors. This dynasty may not have ruled as long, but its impact was no less profound. The Tudor era was a time of great change and controversy, with one king standing out above the rest, Henry VIII. Henry's reign was a tumultuous one. His desire for a male heir led to his infamous 6 marriages and the English Reformation, a break with the Catholic Church that forever changed the religious landscape of England. His actions, driven by personal desires, had far-reaching consequences, shaping not only his kingdom, but the course of religious history. And so, from the ashes of the Middle Ages, these dynasties rose, each leaving their indelible mark on England. Through their rule, they shaped the nation, navigated it through periods of immense change, and laid the groundwork for the England we know today. The Plantagenets and Tudors, through their triumphs, tragedies, and controversies, were more than just rulers. They were architects of a nation, their influence echoing through the ages. These dynasties shaped England into a major European power. The 16th century marked the beginning of England's expansion into a global empire. With the dawn of the Age of Discovery, England was not far behind other European powers in setting its sights on the New World. This period marked the initiation of England's colonization of the Americas, a venture that would later evolve into the British Empire, spanning the globe. The first step in the journey was the establishment of colonies in North America, including Jamestown and the New England colonies. These settlements were often fraught with challenges, but they marked the birth of what would become some of today's most powerful nations. The colonization of the Americas was a dual-edged sword, bringing both prosperity to England and turmoil to the indigenous populations. As England's influence grew, so did its ambitions. The 17th century saw the formation of the East India Company, an entity that would play a pivotal role in England's global expansion. The company began as a trading entity, dealing primarily in spices, cotton, silk, and tea. With time, it gained enormous political power, leading to British control over the Indian subcontinent. The impacts of this control are still felt today, with the English language and legal systems deeply ingrained in Indian society. The British Empire's impact was not limited to the places it directly controlled. Its influence extended across the globe, shaping trade, politics, and culture. English became the language of diplomacy and international trade. British law and governance systems were adopted and adapted in many parts of the world. The Empire also set the stage for major shifts in global power dynamics, laying the groundwork for the world as we know it today. However, the Empire was not without its controversies. Its legacy is one of immense wealth and power, but also of exploitation, oppression, and cultural disruption. These contradictory aspects of the British Empire continue to fuel debates among historians and scholars. At its height, the sun never set on the British Empire, a phrase that encapsulates the vastness of an empire that once covered a quarter of the world's landmass. Its legacy, complex and far-reaching, continues to shape our world today. The 18th century brought a revolution that would change the world. An era of unprecedented change, the Industrial Revolution, born in the heart of the United Kingdom, transformed not just this island nation, but the entire globe. In the blink of an historical eye, society transitioned from rural and agrarian to urban and industrial. Imagine a time when people's lives were dictated by the rising and setting of the sun. Now imagine that sun replaced by the relentless rhythm of the factory clock. This was the Industrial Revolution. It was during this period that people flocked to towns and cities in search of work, giving birth to a new working class. The social fabric of the UK was forever altered, but it wasn't just society that was reshaped. The economy too underwent a dramatic metamorphosis. The groundwork for capitalism was laid as production shifted from the hands of artisans to the mechanized factories. The UK, a small island nation, became the workshop of the world. Textiles, iron and coal, these were the pillars of this new industrial economy. As goods were produced faster and cheaper, commerce thrived and wealth grew. And then there's technology. The Industrial Revolution was a time of mind-blowing innovations. Think of James Watt and his steam engine. This marvel of engineering became the workhorse of the era, powering everything from factories to locomotives, driving the economy forward at a pace previously unimaginable. And let's not forget the spinning jenny or the power loom, inventions that revolutionized the textile industry. It was a time of great change, of progress, but also of challenges. The Industrial Revolution brought wealth and opportunity for some, but for others, it meant harsh working conditions and stark social inequality. Yet, through the smoke and the soot, the UK emerged as a global powerhouse, its influence reaching far beyond its shores. The Industrial Revolution propelled the UK to the forefront of global innovation. Indeed, the ripples of this revolution are still felt today in the UK and around the world. It was a time that redefined what was possible, setting the stage for the modern world we know today. The 20th century was a time of great struggle and change for the UK. The world entered a new era, marked by unprecedented conflict and upheaval, and the United Kingdom was no exception. The century began with the UK at the helm of a vast empire, but it was soon to be tested by the devastating force of two world wars. World War I, often referred to as the Great War, was a global conflict like none other. The UK played a pivotal role in the Allied victory, but the cost was high. The war took a heavy toll, claiming the lives of nearly 1 million British soldiers. It was a shocking loss that deeply affected the nation. Yet, just 2 decades later, the world was plunged into conflict once again. World War II erupted, and the UK stood firm against the Axis powers. The resilience of the British people during the Blitz, a period of intense bombing by Nazi Germany, is still remembered today as a testament to their indomitable spirit. The war ended with another Allied victory, but the landscape of the UK and the world had been forever changed. The aftermath of the World Wars saw the rapid decolonization of the British Empire. Nations across Africa, Asia, and the Caribbean gained independence, marking the end of an era of British global dominance. It was a period of significant adjustment for the UK as it navigated its new role on the world stage. Despite these challenges, the UK underwent a remarkable transformation in the latter half of the 20th century. It established itself as a leading player in international politics, a pioneer in scientific discovery, and a hub of cultural innovation. The creation of the National Health Service, the development of the Concorde jet, and the global influence of British music and film are just a few examples of its achievements during this time. Despite the challenges of the 20th century, the UK emerged as a resilient and influential global power. Through periods of conflict, loss, and change, the nation has continually adapted and reinvented itself, securing its place in the annals of world history. Today, the UK remains a significant player on the global stage. Its vibrant economy, rich cultural tapestry, and influential politics continue to shape the world as we know it. The United Kingdom, with its blend of tradition and innovation, stands as a beacon of progress and resilience. Its history, ripe with tales of valor and vision, echoes in its present. From its ancient origins to its modern achievements, the UK's history is a testament to the enduring spirit of its people. And who knows what the future holds?